Hello, everybody, and welcome to a movie review of Happy Gilmore 2. I usually wouldn't do this type of thing, and it's way out of the realm of the theme of this channel. But as you can see, I'm a big NHL fan. As a kid, I absolutely loved the first Happy Gilmore movie. I knew this is something that probably every single one of you, every person is going to watch. So I couldn't help but talk about it. And I had to throw on the Bruins jersey, of course. It was just way too fitting. This is a Marchand jersey. Can't really see it, but congratulations to him on his Stanley Cup in Florida. But without further ado, let's talk about the movie. And before we talk about anything in the movie, spoiler alert. I'm definitely going to spoil this movie when I talk about it. But let me just start off by saying that it definitely exceeded my expectations. There was a couple things that I didn't think were great about the movie, but we'll get to that in tow. But just to start off, it definitely exceeded my expectations. When you hear that a movie is going to get a sequel 30 years after the original, you can't help but feel like the quality is going to be quite diminished. And of course, this movie, no matter how great it is, it's never going to match the original for a vast majority of people who just grew up with the original. This movie could be great for the next generation, and that's why I think it definitely exceeded my expectations, but we'll get back to that. You know, Happy Gilmore 2 starts off with a huge twist, and this is where we're going to get into the spoiler and the plot a little bit. His wife, Virginia, the original lady that he fell in love with in the first movie, well, she's dead. The movie just starts off by basically saying, oh, she's dead. Happy shot a golf ball at her, and now she's gone. So Happy Gilmore's fallen apart. He's an alcoholic, which is a funny running gag that they have throughout the movie where basically everything that he has ends up being something he can drink out of. But yeah, so she's gone. Happy lives with his 5 kids, 4 sons, which 2 of them were Carl from Shameless and MJF, the professional wrestler. I don't know who the other 2 are. There's going to be a lot of cameos that I miss and that I didn't know, or people that I recognized but couldn't quite put my finger on who they were. Take in mind, we're watching this late in the night, and there's probably about 50 cameos in the entire movie. So, not including Nikki Bella, as you can see. I'm a wrestling fan. She got cut from it, which I thought was kind of funny, but during the movie, they do play lots of footage from the OG. So as opposed to doing a bunch of cheap callbacks, which they did do callbacks, some of which were really, really good, they did play a lot of footage from the OG, which I can see people criticizing if you're not a huge fan of the OG. But if you're not a huge fan of the OG, then Happy Gilmore 2 probably isn't for you. This movie is for the original fans of the movie. So you got to look at it from that perspective. And I enjoyed most of the time that they played footage. A big notable moment being when Happy choked out Blondie. The way that they cut to that footage was amazing. I'm not going to go into every single gag and joke that they did that I thought was funny. I do recommend that you guys see the movie. He gets inspired to play golf again, Happy does, after a guy confronts him in the supermarket where he works, where he has a cucumber. And one thing I will criticize, some of the effects in the movie were not so great. When Happy's drinking out of the cucumber near the beginning of the movie, you can tell that the cucumber is clearly CGI. There's another moment right after that where he throws the guy in the fish tank and it's like obviously like, super fake. Which is, fine. It's not meant to be super serious, but just little effects things that I noticed. It's 2025, so when you see bad effects, it stands out at this point since we have so good of AI replication and everything like that. When you see AAA movies, like let's say you watch Captain America or something like that, you're not going to notice little effect blemishes like that. So I thought that was a slight negative, but nothing that truly took away from the movie in any way. But Happy gets inspired to play golf again after rejecting that guy, but he gets inspired because he needs money to send his daughter to dance class. And his 4 sons are kind of bozos, but they're funny. I think they serve their purpose during the movie. They work out a lot. There's a running gag where they moon the camera. They show their asses. So I thought that they were very much boys, which, is fine. And the girl is very much a girl. She takes dance class. She, wants to make something of herself. And Happy Gilmore, wanting to be the perfect dad, wants to raise the money. So he gets inspired to play golf again. And he goes to some practice tournament with three millennials, one of which was a famous comedian, some mixed race guy with an afro. I don't know his name, but I do remember seeing some clips of him. He is pretty funny. The other two I didn't recognize. But there was a scene during that where the girl, one of the three millennials, I'll just describe them as that. They were like hipsters. I don't know what you would call them. You guys can let me know in the comments, but there's a moment where one of the millennials sinks the ball, and what was the song that played? Windows to the Wall played. The Window to the Wall played, and she started like twerking on the hole, and it went on for like 30 seconds. It cuts to Happy, and he's kind of standing there like, but they don't really cut to him long enough to actually get his reaction. Like the camera barely focuses on him, if at all. And then it cuts back to her, and she's just still dancing, and it's like, are we supposed to feel uncomfortable? Because I do, but not in a good way. So that scene hit a little bit off, but there was some funny moments. Eventually, Happy hits that shot. He's drinking the whole time, which is kind of the antics. The way that they are able to make Happy act a little bit radical, the way he did in the first one, is by having him drink in the second one, because now he's a professional golfer. He's done all these tournaments. It doesn't make sense that he would just be tearing people up like he did in the first one before he knew any of the rules, unless he was under the influence. So I thought that that was a clever way to make Happy pay homage to the original, but without breaking any sort of continuity. He's also been through a lot of tragedy. His grandmother from the original is also, you know what? I don't want to spoil everything about the movie. They bring Ben Stiller back. Shooter comes back. Every single character that they brought back, I thought they did well. There was a really sweet moment near the end of the movie where Shooter finally gets to play golf again. They put Shooter and Happy kind of on the same team, which is a cool dynamic to see because, Shooter's a beloved villain. You don't want to root against him. So I thought that was smart, but they teased it. They teased Shooter being on the other team, and I thought that that was a smart throw off because I thought, okay, they're just going to redo the movie again. They're just going to have Shooter versus Happy again. But that's not what it was at all. There's a great moment where he's in the locker room getting ready, and it's he's talking to all the sorry, I'm completely at the wrong scene. He's in the restaurant and he's talking, not the locker room, and he's talking to a bunch of the Gold Jackets, and Travis Kelce and Bad Bunny make their cameos, and I don't think too much of it. But they're both staff in the restaurant, and Travis Kelce fires Bad Bunny for messing up with some other guy's order that's not with Happy. And Bad Bunny eventually comes back as the caddy, and I thought he was great as the caddy. Probably the best cameo of the movie, Bad Bunny. Got the best role, the best cameo. I think he's going to see the most stock risen from this. MJF's cameo was really good. I thought he shined in his role because he's just super buff and older than the other three boys. Obviously, he just stands out. During the actual tournament themselves, the only person I really knew from it was Becky Lynch, who's from WWE as well. My girlfriend has my fiance has her book up there. There was another really good callback that I enjoyed with Drago Larson. The movie had a lot of great callbacks. There was this scene where Shooter and Happy first meet again, and they interact in a graveyard, and they're fighting all over the graves, and you see all these different references from the original movie. I thought they did a really good job of paying homage to the original movie, but without making the sequel too much like it. They handled the callbacks quite well, which I think was a big concern going into the movie. That there would just be too many cameos, too many callbacks. When's the time for the actual movie to develop? But I thought the plot was pretty good for the most part. The villain, not so memorable. I don't even know his name. He's just the owner of the Maxi company, which is this new futuristic golf. And that's the premise of the movie, is Happy and his team is trying to stop golf from being super radicalized. And there's a quote during the movie that I want to read to you guys that I thought was personally one of the best quotes I've ever heard in movie history. One of the commentators from the original movie, but he's in this one too, said, "I can't believe there's taxis without drivers, AI girlfriends, and possibly the end of traditional golf." So, yeah, if that doesn't exemplify the future we are in 2025, I don't know what does. The movie had a great soundtrack, Jukebox Hero. There was what's the name of that song? It's in Vice City. I think it's the band is the Cult Symmetry. I don't know what it is, but another song that played during the flashback, and the movie ended to Tom Petty. So I thought that it's definitely a dad watch, but I think it is going to get the newer generation, people that are my age and even younger than me, interested in some of the things that are a little bit older. I also think that this movie was great marketing for the Boston Bruins. Like, goddamn, they brought up the Bruins so many times, man. I'm a little bit jealous as a Red Wings fan myself. You guys are lucky as an Original Six franchise to have Happy Gilmore just pick you. I don't know if it's because Adam Sandler is truly from Boston. Like, I don't know that much about Adam Sandler, but yeah, the Bruins got a lucky spot there. The only negatives, the only nitpicks I have with the movie, that one scene that I already pointed out with the girl in the sand trap with the twerking, there was another moment where they brought up Love Island like 3 or 4 times throughout the movie. And I can't help but feel like Love Island is a CIA op. It's just being pushed. Whenever I go on Peacock, me and my fiance, recently engaged, sorry about that, guys, but me and my fiance, whenever we go on Peacock, Love Island and then Beyond the Villa, right there at the top, even though we have absolutely zero interest in watching it, we only have Peacock to watch wrestling. So it's like, why does that pop up at the top of the For You every single time? Then they shout out Love Island by name on the movie. They show like 3 NBC logos. I can't help but feel like NBC and Netflix have a collaboration on this. And it was just like, why? There was even a scene where you can see them watching Love Island on the TV. Like they're showing Happy in like another room, and you can see the TV of the people in the other room. And it's like shows Love Island in the corner. It's just like, come on. I'm sick of fucking Love Island. Get it away from me. It's no. So that was another con that I had, but these are minor nitpicks. I think the movie had good values. I don't think that it was, I don't think it ruins the original in any way, which is the best thing that you want. As long as the original isn't ruined by the sequel, because there's definitely been sequels that have done that, that they're so bad or they mess up the continuity of the original and they put a stain on it. But I think people are going to look back at this movie quite fondly. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. I just wanted to talk about it. I thought it was a really good movie. I know everybody's going to be watching it. Fun topic for once. And I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.